Hello everyone, I am Harsha Perla of class 11B studying in Kendriya Vidyalaya no. 1 Uppal Hyderabad region. When I was in class 6, I used to watch my grandmother making cotton wick using her hands. As she grew older, it became very difficult for her to make them with her hands. So I thought, why don't I help her? But when I tried, I felt it very difficult. So I thought, why don't I make a machine or a device that would help her to make the cotton wick with her hands, but with a great ease. So I made this innovative machine called the wig making machine. The components used in this machine are a DC motor that would hardly cost 30 rupees, a 9 volts battery that also hardly costs 30 rupees, a battery holder to connect the battery and a motor which will cost 10 rupees, a crocodile clip that is connected to the motor shaft which costs 1 or 2 rupees, a push button that costs 5 rupees, a resistor to lower down the power of a 9 volts battery and to get the RPM lower that would spin the cotton at a particular speed. This resistor costs 1 or 2 rupees. So the overall expense of making this machine, it would be 80 rupees, and we can assemble this machine within 30 minutes. But first, when I made this machine, it took me 1.5 hours to make this. So now I will show you how this machine works. So I take the cotton, I take the machine, I push the crocodile clip and I attach the cotton yarn to the machine. So when I push the push button is like a gateway that will connect the motor and the 9 volts battery. So when I push the button, it will spin the yarn, and while spinning I have to be pulling the cotton back. So the yarn becomes into a thread that will become into a yarn. This is how the wig will be created. So after we create the wig, we just have to put them aside. We have to cut them. Into pieces, and we can easily light them like this. You can see it's very easy to make cotton wig with this machine. Nowadays, we see many small vendors near temples who would be selling cotton wig by buying them from a wholesale sellers, and they would merely get some profits. So I thought, why don't we introduce this machine to the small scale vendors so that they can get more profits. As this machine would cost just 80 rupees to make and use, so if we give this machine to them, it would be very beneficial, as they would make this at their home and would sell them at the temples. It takes minimum effort and can get maximum profits to them. This will be a boon to wig makers and would get them good profits and make much more income by using this machine. And finally, when I made this machine and gave to my grandmother, she felt very happy, and I really thank her because she was the inspiration for this machine, and I used my brain and my innovative thinking to make this machine, and now she is very happy with this. So let us innovate and build a better nation. Jai Hind.